The year is 1808. Across continents, conflict intensifies and empires face new and unexpected challenges. In Europe, resistance ignites powerful uprisings, while overseas, political shifts begin to reshape colonial structures. Military campaigns expand, royal decisions alter the fate of nations, and the global balance of power grows increasingly unstable. 1808 stands as a year of revolt, relocation, and rising nationalism. In this video, we'll explore the key events of 1808 and how they helped redefine the course of world history. January 1st, the importation of slaves into the United States is formally banned as the 1807 Act prohibiting importation of slaves takes effect. However, Americans still continue the slave trade by transporting Africans to Cuba and Brazil. Sierra Leone becomes a British Crown colony. January 22nd, transfer of the Portuguese court to Brazil. John, Dom João, Prince Regent, and the Braganza royal family of Portugal arrive in their colony of Brazil in exile from the French occupation of their home kingdom. January 26th, Rum Rebellion. On the 20th anniversary of the foundation of the colony of New South Wales, disgruntled military officers of the New South Wales Corps, the Rum Corps, overthrow and imprison Governor William Bligh and seize control of the colony. February 2nd, French troops take Rome as part of the Napoleonic Wars. February 6th, the ship Topaz, from Boston April 5th, 1807 hunting seals, rediscovers the Pitcairn Islands. Only one HMS Bounty mutineer is still alive, John Adams, who is using the pseudonym Alexander Smith. February 11th. In Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania, Jesse Fell becomes the first known person to burn anthracite coal as residential heating fuel. February 21st. The Finnish War begins as Russian troops cross the border into Finland without a declaration of war. Russia issues an ultimatum to Sweden to join Napoleon's continental system against the United Kingdom. March 1st. The slave trade is abolished by the United Kingdom in all of its colonies as the Slave Trade Act 1807 takes effect. This year, the British Royal Navy establishes the West Africa Squadron on the coast of West Africa to enforce the abolitionist blockade of Africa. March 2nd. Russian troops occupy Helsinki and threaten Sveaborg. The inaugural meeting of the Rwanarian Natural History Society, a Scottish learned society, is held in Edinburgh. Preliminary meeting January 12th. A minor naval battle which takes place off the coast of Scarborough results in the capture of the Danish brig Admiral Jarl, commanded by Danish adventurer Jørgen Jørgensen. March 7th. Transfer of the Portuguese court to Brazil. The Portuguese royal court arrives in Rio de Janeiro, making it the center of the Portuguese Empire. March 11th. Russian troops occupy Tampere in Finland. March 13th. Upon the death of Christian VII, Frederick VI becomes King of Denmark. The next day, March 14th, Denmark declares war on Sweden. March 19th, Charles IV of Spain abdicates in favor of his son, Ferdinand VII. March 22nd, Russian troops occupy Turku in Finland. English Wars, Scandinavia. Battle of Zealand Point. British ships defeat those of Denmark and Norway. April. A volcano erupts from an unknown location in the Western Pacific. This causes a localized drop in marine air temperatures during this year and a worldwide drop in marine air temperature for the following decade. Prussian philosopher Johann Gottlieb Fichte publishes his addresses to the German nation, having delivered them over the winter at the Prussian Academy of Sciences in Berlin before crowded audiences. April 6th, John Jacob Astor incorporates the American Fur Company. April 16th, troops under Colonel Karl von Döbeln clash with Russian troops in Pyhäjoki, Finland. May 2, Peninsular War, Dos de Mayo Uprising. The people of Madrid rise up against the French troops. May the 3rd, Finnish War. The fortress of Sveaborg is lost by Sweden to Russia. The Madrid rebels who rose on May 2nd are executed near the hill of Príncipe Pío. Goya paints the fight and the execution in 1814. May 6th. Ferdinand is forced to abdicate as King of Spain by Napoleon. This effectively ends the Anglo-Spanish War, 1796 to 1808, as the United Kingdom allies with Spain and Portugal against the French in the Peninsular War. June 12th. Finnish War. A landing of Swedish troops at Alálemu near Turku fails. June 15th to August 14th. Peninsular War. First Siege of Zaragoza. Spanish resist the French. June 19th. Finnish War. A second landing of Swedish troops at Alálemu fails. June 30. Finnish War. Battle of Turku. The Swedish archipelago fleet defeats the Russians. English chemist Humphrey Davy informs the Royal Society of London of his isolation and discovery of two elements by electrolysis. From lime, he has produced calcium and established that lime is calcium oxide. By heating boric acid and potassium in a copper tube, he creates a substance he calls boracium, which is eventually called boron. This year, he also isolates magnesium and strontium. July 5th. Worcester, Ohio, established and named for General Worcester. July 8th. Joseph Bonaparte approves the Bayonne Statute, a royal charter intended as the basis for his rule as King of Spain during the Peninsular War. July 14th. Finnish War. Swedish troops under Colonel Adlercreutz force the Russians to withdraw in Lapua. July 22nd. Battle of Bailen. French General Dupont surrenders to Spanish irregular forces. August 1st. Peninsular War. British Expeditionary Force lands near Porto. August 10th. Finnish War. Swedish troops under Karl von Dobeln defeat a Russian attack in Kauhajoki. August the 17th. Peninsular War. Battle of Rolitsa. A British-Portuguese army under Sir Arthur Wellesley defeats an outnumbered French army under General Henri de la Borde. The Finnish War. The Battle of Alavus is fought. August 21st. Peninsular War. Battle of Vimeiro. British-Portuguese troops under Wellesley defeat the French under General Jean-Andoche Junot. September 13th. Finnish War. Battle of Jutas. Swedish forces under Lieutenant General Georg Karl von Dobeln beat the Russians, making von Dobeln a Swedish war hero. September 27th. The Congress of Erfurt, between the Emperors Napoleon I of France and Alexander I of Russia, begins. September 29th. Finnish War. A truce is declared between Swedish and Russian troops in Finland. October 12th. Banco do Brasil, a major financial group in South America, founded in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. November 8th. 1808. United States presidential election. James Madison defeats Charles C. Pinckney, winning 122 electoral votes to Pinckney's 47. 10 of the 17 states choose their electors by popular vote. The rest choose through state legislatures. George Clinton, who is separately elected as vice president, gets 6 electoral votes for president. November 12th. 4 large French frigates under the command of Jacques-Félix Emmanuel Hamelin, including the Venus, are sent to operate from Île-de-France, Mauritius, against British trade in the Indian Ocean, triggering the Mauritius Campaign of 1809 to 1811. November 15th. Mahmud II, 1808 to 1839, succeeds Mustafa IV, 1807 to 1808, as Sultan of the Ottoman Empire. November 19th. A new truce at Olkijoki ends fighting in Finland, and Swedish troops concede that area to Russia. November 23rd. Battle of Tudela. French Marshal Lannes defeats a Spanish army. December 1st. Tsar Alexander I of Russia proclaims Finland a part of Russia. December 5th. Napoleon joins his army in Spain. December 9th. At 2034 UTC, Mercury occults Saturn. There are no observation records. December 20th. Peninsular War. Second Siege of Zaragoza begins. The original Covent Garden Theatre in London is destroyed by a fire, along with most of the scenery, costumes, and scripts. December 22nd. Beethoven Concert of December 22nd, 1808. Ludwig van Beethoven conducts and plays piano in a marathon benefit concert at the Theater an der Wien in Vienna, consisting entirely of first public performances of works by him, including Symphony No. 5, Symphony No. 6, Piano Concerto No. 4, and Choral Fantasy. Date unknown. Goethes Faust, Part 1. Faust, eine Tragödie, erster Teil, is published in full in Tübingen. The Academy of Fine Arts, Munich, is given the title of Royal Academy of Fine Arts by King Maximilian I, Joseph of Bavaria. The Rijksmuseum moves from The Hague to Amsterdam, where it is located temporarily at the Royal Palace. As 1808 draws to a close, it becomes clear that this year marked the beginning of deeper transformations. The conflicts and decisions of this period would inspire resistance movements, political change, and long-term consequences across multiple continents. The events of 1808 remind us that moments of crisis often ignite forces that reshape the world in ways few could have predicted. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like it and subscribe to the channel for more history content.